Hi, everyone. This is Ellen from the Astrology Journal. I wanted to talk a little bit about Pluto's ingress or entry into Aquarius. So that happened on June 20th. I'm not sure of the time. It was sometime in the evening, East Coast of the United States time. So it entered Aquarius, and what it's going to be doing, what Pluto does is it exposes. And it dredges up and it goes down into the bowels of things, and it brings up whatever needs to be brought up into the light so that it can be seen and cleared. So in Aquarius, we're going to be getting, Aquarius is about, it's kind of about a lot of crazy things, or it can be. So it's going to be about AI. It's going to be about ETs. It's going to be all sorts of things. Aquarius is also about humanitarianism. So we might be seeing some of the egregiousness of things having to do with humanitarianism. The institutions or whatever who are supposed to be doing good things and maybe not, Pluto also has to do with power and using their power. It also has to do with money, using their power and money in ways that maybe aren't the greatest. So it's going to be bringing up whatever needs to be exposed so that Aquarius, the Aquarius energy can be purified and cleared. And the Aquarius energy at its root is really about humanitarianism in the best sense. And it's about intelligence and genius in the best sense. It's about, each person's unique genius. Every single being on this planet has some kind of unique genius. And Aquarius is about that. And if we can all be supported and getting in touch with that, we can, rise. We can boats can rise together. We can all contribute our gifts to the collective, and that can help us all. So, so Pluto and Aquarius, especially in the initial stages of it, I feel like we're going to be starting to see a lot of things around these kinds of things. But these are the things that are coming up that need to come up to be seen, as far as I'm concerned. But the interesting thing is Pluto, when it entered Aquarius, was squaring Jupiter. And Jupiter is in Aquarius. And Jupiter, one of the things about Jupiter, well, first of all, it can be about the stories we tell. It's kind of about higher learning. And so in a sense, the stories we weave together to make sense of things. And to the extent that those stories are in alignment with what's true, Jupiter is also about truth and lies. Then those stories are good, and they help to build us up and strengthen us. To the extent that they're out of alignment with what's true, they weaken us, and they kind of put us off the path. And so Jupiter also relates to our cultural path, the cultures that we groove into being through the stories we tell and that sort of thing. So Jupiter is about higher learning. So we learn about things like philosophy and the laws and the religions. So the extent that all of these things that underlie the structures that we build up in Capricorn, to the extent that those are in alignment with truth, we build up really solid, sound structures that can support us. To the extent that they're out of alignment, then they don't support us being in alignment with the truth. They get us kind of out of balance and off whack. Jupiter is in Taurus, and Taurus is the first fixed sign, and Aquarius is the final fixed sign. Pluto rules Scorpio. Scorpio is the third fixed sign, and the second fixed sign is Leo. So let me talk about Taurus first. So Taurus is really our basic level of survival. We meet our survival needs, and that sets us up for well-being. To the extent that those basic needs are met, we experience well-being. Taurus is also about feeling our way through the world. It's our first level navigational system, you could say, to use a term kind of twist a phrase by Abraham Hicks. It's our sensorial guidance system. So they talk about the emotional guidance system. In Taurus, it's about our senses, and those get us in touch with our feelings. Our feelings are a little bit different than our emotions. So the feelings are really based in our body. And so we learn to navigate our world in the Taurus realm by, does this feel good? You touch a hot stove, it doesn't feel good, you pull away. It's naturally built to know what's going to help it survive and what's for its survival and what's threatening to its survival. It knows that. It's its basic system. So to the extent that we are in full possession of that, are able to access that and use it, we're able to navigate our way in this most fundamental level. So as we're moving through this, Pluto is moving through this Aquarius territory, and it's bringing up, all of this stuff that's been out of, kind of hidden in the dark and out of alignment with these basic, our basic understanding of life, our basic navigate. Like if we don't know these things, we get confused in how to navigate. Jupiter is a traditional ruler of Pisces, and there can be this sense of confusion. So anyway, and the confusion in the stories we tell, this confusion in the narratives that we tell through our religions and that sort of thing. So anyway, the idea is that as things are coming up and being exposed in Aquarius, we can turn to this Taurus baseline, this Taurus grounding, and if we don't have access to that, we can focus on learning how can we redevelop that? How can we reconnect that? It's in all of us. We are born with it. It's innate. So how can we reconnect with that and reestablish that as it's sort of like the taproot of our let me go a little beyond that. So Taurus is about our gifts and talents too. It's about the resources on the earth that we can use. It's about our gifts and talents. So in a sense, all of these kind of serve as our taproot. They ground us. So our navigational system grounds us. Our gifts and talents, when we connect with those, they ground us. We kind of can narrow down from all the possibilities out there. We can just narrow down to, our gifts and talents and what we can cultivate, what we can ground into, and then develop. And then that's what we bring into Aquarius and we can share as our unique genius. So anyway, I feel like I'm saying a lot because every archetype has a lot of different meanings, but I'm trying to just kind of touch on all of them. Anyway, Pluto square Jupiter when it enters Aquarius. That square, it's a first quarter square. And that first quarter square, when you count on the natural wheel, it falls in Cancer, at 0 degrees Cancer. And Cancer, the exact square of 90 degrees. Cancer is about birthing. So the first quarter square is about birthing that unique something that is us. Given the symbolism of the square. And it's about laying down the foundations. That first quarter square, Dane Rudger calls it a crisis in action. To me, it's about laying down the foundations that will support us through life. And Cancer is very much an emotional sign. It's about, you think about the mother and the child, the mother embracing the child. And that symbolism of Cancer with the two kind of, I don't know how to describe the circle, but if you're looking on the video, it's here. So you see the two parts of it. And in a sense that you can see that as the arms holding the mother, and so the mother and child together strong. We need to be loving ourselves, and we need to be creating a supportive environment around ourselves, and an environment that is emotionally supportive for us. So these are all the things to think about. Is all this stuff is coming up in Aquarius that will be coming up. I certainly expect it to be. Then we can start to ground. What is our truth? What is our basic, most simple truth? What feels good, what doesn't feel good, and not what feels good in an addictive way, a false way. Remember, Jupiter, truth and lies. Jupiter rules Pisces in traditional astrology. Pisces have to do with addictions. So we're not talking about that kind of feeling good. We're talking about real, genuine, life-supporting feeling good. So what can we tap into there? What can we nurture? Cancer, nurture. What can we nurture? What can we nourish? And so can we nourish our basic relationship with our basic senses and that sort of thing? Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, and Uranus is also in Taurus. And so Uranus in Taurus is about, so we can say that Pluto is looking to Uranus. I just learned recently that in traditional astrology, when they're working with the outer planets, and Uranus and Pluto are outer planets, they don't actually think of it that way. They don't actually think that Pluto is looking to Uranus. But I'm going to go with Pluto is looking to Uranus. So that's the way I'm going to do it. So Pluto is looking to Uranus as it's going through and throwing up all this stuff, all this underbelly. It's looking to Uranus and Taurus. And Uranus and Taurus is saying, let's ground our energy. Let's awaken to this basic sense level of being and this basic level of well-being, which is about meeting our needs for survival, to the extent that our culture, you know, and our structures and our systems are set up to support people in meeting these basic needs, we as a culture will have a baseline level of well-being. To the extent that that's not happening, we will not have a baseline level of well-being. And what happens when you don't have a baseline level of well-being? You get people up in arms, rebelling and revolution, that sort of thing. You get Aquarian energy in that expression of it. But again, Aquarius, what is that expression about? It's like, hey, we want to be able to contribute too. We have something to contribute too. We have a unique genius too. We want to contribute that, and you're not supporting us in being able to build and develop that. So to me, Uranus, by the way, is retrograde in this in this chart, and so there's something that Uranus is going back for, something it's needing to think about, and I really feel like it's about awakening to our senses. Really, if Uranus is ruler of Aquarius, and Aquarius is the final fixed sign, and we can say that final fixed sign, the root of that, the base of that, the foundation of that is Taurus, then Uranus retrograde to me is saying, wait a minute, we're missing this foundation. We need to reestablish this. We need to get in touch with this again. So I feel like it's about that. So that's one piece of this. And actually, I'm going to stop it here, and I'm going to talk about another piece, possibly in another video. I had some personal kind of things come through, awakening that came through for me. The basic theme is awakening or breaking through. Aquarius is about like it breaks things, breaking through to bonds. Pluto would be bonds of loyalty that have been chaining us, that have been keeping us down. And the loyalty comes in with the sun. The sun rules Leo, and this is an archetype of loyalty. Leo, remember, is that second fixed sign. I guess I'm going to be talking about this now. Leo is that second fixed sign, and the sun conjuncted Pluto at the very end of Capricorn, just before it went into Aquarius. And then 11 hours later, I think it was 11 hours later, Pluto entered Aquarius, or, that same day, essentially, within 24 hours, Pluto entered Aquarius. So the sun led the way into Aquarius. So what are the bonds of loyalty that have been chaining us, that have been keeping us down, that have been preventing us from accessing our true happiness, Jupiter, our true happiness, and our true success, which is based in happiness? That would all be Jupiter. So that might be coming up. I had these awakenings, this awareness. I'm not going to go into detail, but it was like I had been chained down by things. Pluto, by the way, in evolutionary astrology also represents our soul. And in evolutionary astrology, it's really, it looks very, very deeply at past life soul kind of connections. And there's all this, there are different people who they're like, we don't have past lives. It's all concurrent lives. It's all this, it's all that. I don't know what it is, but for me, the terminology of past life makes sense. I can connect with that. And for me, there were connections to an institution, and that institution no longer works for me in this lifetime. And it was as though I had made a bond of, or an oath of loyalty to this institution in some previous incarnation or something. And I got that it's like, wait a minute, oaths can only maintain for as long as both parties are really showing up and honoring and valuing the other. If one part of that, party to that oath is choosing to exercise power over Pluto, and Pluto is power, but one of the ways that it can express is power over another, that oath is no longer valid. And so breaking free of those oaths, seeing into the lie of things, becoming aware of the messaging that you couldn't quite understand before. There was one messaging, this had to do with happiness actually for me, that also came through for me. And one of the confusions for me was the feeling of when I'm happy, I get attacked. And what the message, the statement for me was, I don't understand why some people get to be happy. They don't want me to be happy, but they get to be happy. Well, the lie in that statement is that if somebody's attacking you for your happiness, then they're not happy. They're not going on. What they're living isn't happiness. It's something else. Because if you're truly in happiness, you want other people to be happy. You are going to support other people in being happy. So seeing whatever those statements are, whatever those bits of confusion have been for us, and getting it, finally getting it. Aquarius is like this spark of understanding, this spark of genius in understanding something, this spark of awakening and understanding. So finally getting those, and by getting those, we can finally start to break free with them. And Aquarius is also of the mind. So getting these statements, they're of the mind. And so finally seeing those, becoming aware of them, and breaking free of them. So I wanted to share that. I hope there's something helpful in here. Thank you for listening. I really enjoy sharing what comes up for me. And I like I said, I hope it's helpful. So thank you. I'm going to end it there, and have a beautiful day. And yeah, that's all. Okay, bye.